Welcome everyone to the last week of the regular season here in the Geoguessr Reddit League. My name is Atomo and I'm joined as always by Calamity. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about this last week. Unfortunately, I think this is the only video we're going to be able to bring you for this final week, but it is an interesting one nonetheless. It's a matchup between RadoX and Tall Impala in Division 2. Quite a bit on the line, but very different things on the line for these two competitors, Calamity.
Yeah, they're both a bit under pressure for different reasons. Tall Impala currently in 4th spot. He's got Ice Pharaoh breathing down his neck. He can't afford to not get any points. Getting 1 point is fine for him. He'll secure his 4th place. But getting no point opens the door quite wide for Ice Pharaoh. And RadoX, on the other hand, 9th place. He is currently in an alright position to secure at least his participation in the relegation decider. Very unlikely for him to jump up to 8th. He'd need Blockchain Prenup to drop loads of points. Like loads of score points, not actual points in the Reddit League. But as long as one of either Benica or Skarmory behind him doesn't pick up a point, he's fine whatever happens here. But obviously with a win, he could save himself the painful wait to see what happens in the other matches.
Indeed, yeah. So RadoX fighting to stay out of the automatic relegation spots. Tall Impala fighting to remain in the promotion race for Division 2. But the stats kind of make it seem like RadoX has quite the hill to climb. About 5,000 points less on average score, almost twice the average kilometers off, and not even half the aces. Pretty good best game for RadoX compared to Tall Impala. But yeah, definitely not the matchup he probably wanted in his final week, to say the least. Let's take a look at the map they'll be facing off on. It is Malaysia, created by Mapper, with an average score of just under 15,000. It's been played a little over 1,000 times and has over 1,000 locations. Malaysia, lots of little islands to worry about, not just one place. So even if you can put yourself in the right region, it can be pretty tricky if you are on a side island or whatnot. So who do you fancy here, Calamity?
Well, first of all, there's not really many islands. I mean, you can technically count Borneo as one half of an island. But other than that, I think it's just 3 other islands / I'm not even sure if Penang is an island or just sort of connected to the mainland. Probably a question of definitions. But yeah, I think RadoX has more chances on Malaysia than his stats show, because it's again quite different from a lot of the pinpoint heavy maps we've played in the past this season. Malaysia generally relatively big. It also has the additional difficulty of having 2 separated parts with, as I said, the half of Borneo and the mainland Malaysia. Where if you guess the wrong one out of the 2, you're pretty much screwed for that round. And there's a lot of things that Malaysia has that can help you out in finding out where you are. I'll talk about some of them while we're playing and actually seeing the competitors make use of them. But yeah, I think the matchup might be close. I know both of them have practiced quite a bit, considering, as we've mentioned before, it's very important for both of them. And it'll certainly be an exciting matchup.
Indeed. Yeah, maybe there is multiple islands for Malaysia, but they might not all have the same coverage. So that might be the thing. Or technically the country is many islands, but Google Street View doesn't exactly go to every one of them.
Yeah, a lot of them
so
don't
not
have
really
coverage.
Relevant for our players, maybe. True. Well, let's jump right into this one and see how it goes. And right off the bat, a pretty rural setting.
This is actually, I guess, like if you've played a couple of practice games, you might be familiar with this road. It looks very distinct, and RadoX has found himself a nice little sign there. It shows the road number on top of it, and a couple of cities that are quite far away. So you can usually expect them to be bigger cities. With Ipoh there, 212 kilometers. And I think it says Garrick, but I can't read the number below it, like 60 odd
Like
something.
66, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And L49 also finding a similar sign.
Yep. It only says Ipoh.
Pretty convenient road sign in Malaysia, having both the cities and the number on the little flag there.
The mean thing about Malaysia is, as I only noticed while I was playing this seed, is that a lot of the provinces in Malaysia, the name of the province blocks the name of the biggest city in the province. Ipoh is one such example. Where it says Perak on the map, Perak being the province, that's where Ipoh is, but it doesn't show up as Ipoh unless you zoom in very far. So unless you realize that sometime when practicing, you might not know that. Good thing for RadoX, Garrick does show up relatively quickly, and knowing he's on the 4, he can pinpoint relatively well with that.
Yeah, with still over a minute and a half left, looks like RadoX is going to start looking at those curves to figure out where exactly he might be on the road. L49 a little bit further behind. I don't think he's seen the 4 yet. He knows some city distances. So he is in the right general area, but not yet on the road. Again, going opposite directions, these two.
Yeah, it's quite a long road, this one. So not exactly the easiest thing to pinpoint, because there's not a lot of pointers to help you with. It's just curvy all the way throughout. And in the stretch that they are in currently, it's just continuously going west-east pretty much.
Yeah, so they can find maybe a bridge. This is not too far from where RadoX is looking. That might be something that can help them. But yeah, not a whole lot of shops or buildings either on the side of the road to be able to use. So it comes down to judging that distance you've traveled and how far cities are away from you, which can always be a trick. So.
Yeah, tends to be pretty hard to do though if you... I thought of, for example, about looking at sort of like a standard distance somewhere in Malaysia that I could just refer to whenever I'd see distance signs somewhere. Didn't do it in the end, but that might be one way to do it.
Okay, with about 5 seconds left, they're both on the right road, but on other sides of the major river there. And RadoX will be the one who gets the better of it. 4,890 points for him, 4,398 for L49. Pretty much just went the wrong way, Calamity, unfortunately for him.
Still, probably at the end, if once he had committed himself to the 4, he could have thought about the distances again, because the signs he found were 300 kilometers to Ipoh. But again, it comes down to, do you know how much 300 kilometers is in Malaysia?
Yeah. Yeah, well, RadoX will be happy with that, taking a small lead into round number 2 over his much higher ranked opponent. But this one, a city with signs very close to the start. No wrong way to go here.
I mean, they both went the same way. You don't know what's in the other direction.
They are looking at different signs, at least.
Yeah, Tolenpala didn't turn around for the sign RadoX is looking at, which he probably should have, but difficult to know.
Yeah, but they both see that sign for the 51.
In RadoX's case, he also sees the sign for the N29 though. The road numbers in Malaysia, the ones that have letters on them, tell you the province they're in. Most of the time, the letter corresponds to the first letter of the province name. In this case, N stands for Negeri. I don't actually know what the second part of the province name is. It starts with an S, Sembilan or something like that. It's not true for all provinces. There are some where it doesn't correspond, but it's still unique. So you just learn the 2 or 3 words. It's not the same.
Yeah, L49 though it did turn around, saw another sign with some intersection information and that N number as well.
Mm.
So they're both sharing that information now with just under 2 minutes, looking to pinpoint their exact location.
Yeah, L49 pretty much in the right spot. RadoX currently looking at a sign that tells him that he's in, I think it's Tanjung Ipo or something. That's the village name. It's a bit further to the east of where he's currently. An important thing there also, the thing that is said above Tanjung Ipo is the name of the place he's currently in front of. In this case, I think it's a school or something like that,
Yeah.
which, as you can see right here, right there on the map.
Yeah.
Which he could remember.
We'll see if he does. He's got a minute to think on it. So, I do believe he will try to use every last second he has to try to get any advantage he might have. Both are very close, and it will be close enough for 5,000 points for L49 and ace for him. Only 2 meters away. Very nice. RadoX going a bit more far afield to try to get some more information. But he does appear to be zooming in on that school. And as long as he doesn't move his marker again. I think he's had it on the right location like 5 times, but then always moves it again.
Further and further away.
He's got 20 seconds. He can still move it back. Even if he doesn't get the ace, he won't be dropping too many points here. So.
Yeah, it's probably like a matter of 5-6 points at most.
Yeah, but he will be kicking himself about it, of missing out. As the clock ticks down,
he can still move it further away.
And sure enough, will cost him 5 points, 4,995 for him. A bit unfortunate there, but not a bad location to spawn in at all, Calamity.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one, like right next to a village that had one of those numbered and like lettered roads in it. So yeah, not much in it there.
Nice. So as we get into round number 3, L49 did start his comeback. All 5 points of it, but it is something.
Yeah,
and they're on a major road, and again they will take off, at least initially, in opposite directions, but turn around for L49, head south, and now RadoX turns around and heads north. They can't seem to make up their minds which way they want to go.
Both ways at the same time.
Yeah.
Get all the information.
2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. But yeah, so far no real signs.
You'll usually find
a rural location.
You'll usually find some though in due time. With 3.5 minutes, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, Malaysia is not the worst in terms of the information you can find, and we have a buffering problem with RadoX, which is weird because L49's video is perfectly fine, but
yeah,
the mysteries of the internet.
Maybe L49's video loaded a bit further ahead.
I don't know. Yeah, his video seems to have loaded well ahead. Apologies for the technical difficulty. There we go. We'll catch RadoX up a bit. He does see some motor vehicles, and you can see on L49 screen he does have a pretty difficult to read, but a street sign nonetheless. As they're about synced back up again.
And he seems to know very well where this is.
It does have look to be a couple city names as well underneath it, so that.
Oh yeah, it says Gerik Perak. I didn't see that at first. So yeah, if you paid attention during the first round, you might recognize those names.
Seem to be almost right back where we were last time.
Now Tolopala went to the other side of the road.
remembering where he's been is always good. And I think RadoX will see that exact sign he saw before.
It's not quite the same sign, but it's got the same things on it. Yep.
I guess the numbers are very different. They're much closer to Garrick this time.
Could also
L49 is on the wrong side now.
Yet again. But yeah, they're looking at the exact same sign right now.
Yeah. Well, he's still got a minute, so might be able to figure it out here.
They could also remember from the start that this time
he will figure it out.
Their road was heading in a quite different direction compared to the first round. This round is a lot more north-south, whereas the first one was a lot more west-east. And the stretch of this road that goes north-south is a lot shorter. So yeah, it's not as difficult to pinpoint.
Okay, and we're back. We gave RadoX's video a bit of a chance to try to catch up, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Their timers are synced, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And with about 15 seconds left, not quite as confident with their guesses as before, but they are pretty close.
I feel like they're almost in the exact same spot right now.
They almost are. They might actually be. Unless, I was about to say, unless not Ice Arrow, and L49 moves at the last second. I believe L49 got one more point than RadoX. 4,966 to 4,965 points. So they were practically on top of each other with their pin placement just a bit too far south.
RadoX probably about 10 meters further to the west, costing him that point.
Yeah. So again, slight gains for L49, but not really the gains he's been looking for.
It's actually quite interesting though. Like they must have not had enough time to pinpoint, because if you look at L49's position right there, it doesn't look at, like, the way the road goes doesn't look at all like the actual location. The actual location is sort of northwest, southeast, and where both of them guessed is kind of very west-east-ish. So I'm wondering about why they both came to the conclusion that they're there.
I don't think either of them jumped back to the starting location in the last 30 seconds of the round. So it was more of going off of memory and maybe not remembering that about the road direction at the spawn location and just guessing we're in this general area. And
possibly
they guessed the same spot, and unfortunately. So, yeah, well, let's get into round number... Oops, I moved his video. On top of things today, there we go. A few seconds behind, that shouldn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, RadoX finding a very useful sign there. It tells you the postcode, 06710 Pendang. The postcodes in Malaysia are very, very useful. 06 is in the northwest corner of the country. They generally go kind of like the zeros and the ones till 14 are in the northwest. Then it goes over to the east where it starts with 15. And then down to about 29 or 30, I think. Then you've got like 40 to 70 something is all around Kuala Lumpur. Then you have 82, I think might be Johor Bahru, like the city near Singapore, but I'm not 100% confident about that. And then you've got like the 80s and the 90s over on Borneo, with 87 or 86 being Labuan, and the numbers till 92 being Sabah. And 93 to 97 or 98 is Sarawak.
Yeah, so RadoX has some very good community information and the block number and whatnot. So about 2 minutes to go, they're back to pinpointing their location within the city.
Yeah, one of the most useful things I've found in Malaysia is knowing as many cities, as many province names as possible. So you always know what to look for on signs, and so that you can instantly recognize, okay, this is a city name. I can probably find that.
Yeah.
The other problem is Malaysian cities can be quite big in terms of the area that belongs to the city. So just because it says you're near Pendang can still mean you're like 50 kilometers out into the middle of nowhere. That still is technically part of Pendang.
Yeah, Japan is the same way. Lots of rural roads are assigned to a municipality that could be half an hour drive away.
Mm,
So it can be really confusing trying to finding them on the map. But a very good sign here for L49,
yeah.
confirming some road locations. So if he didn't already have a good clue, he does now.
And you'll usually be able to find the name of these small cities somewhere. The problem is just you need to be very far zoomed in so that they show up on the map. And you've got quite a big distance to cover usually for those areas in which you can search.
Yeah.
And also the street numbers and street names aren't always up to date. I know a couple of like RadoX showed me one where the images show an old road name that's out of date and no longer visible on Google Maps. So those can always throw a wrench into whatever you were trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, there can be discrepancies between what you see on the images because they are often several years old compared to the to the date map. Usually not a problem, but looks like this image was taken in 2013. RadoX a bit too far west there, 4,434 points for him, and a little bit closer for L49, 4,699 points for him. Yeah. So yeah, just lots of information, but maybe the trickiest round so far to pinpoint. Calamity.
Yeah, definitely. RadoX just in the end went with, he saw a sign for Pendang, let's just go with Pendang. He didn't know in which direction he would have to go to get closer to the actual location. I'm going to assume he knew we're not in Pendang. It wasn't like a major city. But yeah, as I've said, finding these small villages can be very hard. And Tall Impala, I think, didn't also, like, he had a sign with a couple of road numbers, but either he didn't see them or he just, didn't find them in time, or they weren't on the map. Possible, I don't know.
Yeah, very close. We'll take a look at these scores going into the final round. RadoX 19,284, L49 19,063. Very, very close. Definitely anybody's game to still win. Either way, lots of signs at the starting location, so if they can figure out where they are, pinpointing shouldn't be too difficult.
Shouldn't be. I think there might even be like a postcode on what L49 was looking at right now, but it was very, very small and don't think it was readable. If it even was a postcode, I don't know.
RadoX seems to believe we are in the other island for the first time.
Yep. He's seen Ranau on a sign there, and he knows where it is, as do I. He's just gonna take a couple of seconds to find it. Come on, RadoX.
There you go. He's got it. Very nice. Practice paying off for RadoX here in the final round. Gives him a good chance of maintaining his lead into the final round.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cities/towns in Sabah, so you should probably just know all of them. Like at least know that they're there, and then you can probably find them on the map when you see them.
L49 had a road number on that sign there, and he didn't seem to look at his map. Maybe he couldn't quite read it.
What did it say?
I wasn't really sure. It was really small.
Fair enough.
Obviously, when the players are playing, they have a bigger version of this. We're kind of got two of them going on at the same time, so they're shrunk down.
Yeah, just know that there's a lot of these kilometer markers.
His video is having some issues. There we go.
There's a lot of these kilometer markers that have things on them that look like road numbers at first sight, but aren't. I still, I talked with RadoX about this, and neither of us knew really what they meant, because they weren't kilometers, but yeah, if anyone in the comment knows what I'm talking about, it'd be great if they could tell me, and we're probably gonna need another cut here.
Okay, back into it to the final minute and a half or so. Yeah, as you were saying, Calamity, the road signs might look like a number, but if you zoom in fact, aren't a number.
Yeah,
So maybe that's what we saw.
Weird. I didn't see the sign you saw, so I don't know if that's what it was, or if Tom Impala just missed it, or thought it wasn't important information for him. All possible.
Well, he does see quite a few city names, not a road name.
Are they in the same place again?
In just under a minute. I don't know. I don't know if L49 has even opened his map yet.
No, I think I meant, are they in the same place in game, not on the map?
Oh, okay. If not, RadoX is right on his tail. L49 is continuing to move. As he tries to read this city name and distance sign, he will see that Renault, so he will move.
He'll also see though that Renault is, I can't read it, 34 or 54 kilometers away.
Yeah,
quite far away.
Yeah.
He looks actually like this. I think this is the right church.
RadoX will run out of time.
Like if
4,441, and
if I remember the signs,
found the city.
If I remember the signs correctly, this here is the exact church that Tom Impala's got on his map right now.
Yep, it sure is.
Yep. He
but
should have clicked.
Quite put it there. Yeah, should have clicked there. Yeah, but RadoX, knowing the city, but put us too close to it, not exactly the distance away from it. He needed to be 4,441 for him. L49, the last round comeback, 4,947. After losing the first round, takes the next 4 and bits and chunks and climbs all the way back to take the lead by a few hundred in the end. As we take a look at these final scores, 24,000, 10 points for...
Skip to 25.37 for RadoX. Or somewhere around there. Yeah.
There we go. What are you looking at, RadoX? Have to listen to his video to find out what he's doing. There we go. 23,725 for him. So unfortunately, that's just outside of the draw. Right,
yeah,
Calamity?
Just outside of it, but it should still give him 1 point for being in the top 50%. I don't think there's any question about that. That 1 point doesn't help him a lot. It guarantees that if either Benica or Skarmory also get 1 point, so if they either draw or finish in the top 50, they can't overtake him. So it certainly helps, but if one of them win, he's still he's still gonna finish 10th or 11th. Well, if both of them win, he's gonna finish 11th. If one of them wins, he's gonna finish 10th. There.
Yeah, but definitely a very good score, and not losing by too much for RadoX there, which means his score differential is preserved a little bit, so that might also give him a little bit of a boost in the final seeds. And if you want to find out how this all plays out, check out the Geoguessr Reddit League show on the YouTube channel here, and you'll be able to see exactly how it all played out. But yeah, so this does it for the regular season for us. We will see you all next time in the playoffs and relegation decider matches. We hope to bring you at least one match from every division. We should have videos for those, and those are definitely a must watch for sure. So we'll see you then. Take care.
Bye.